Hey Norman, this is Tyson Yalovich. It was great to talk to you the other day, and I'm good to catch up. In this video that I'm making for you, I want to show you 3 things that you can do today to help bring in more customers to your guys' business. I know you're probably asking yourself, why am I doing this? What's in it for me? Well, like I said, I can read minds actually, and a lot of time, and I know you know this, a lot of local business owners get too busy running their own business to really learn how the internet can really benefit them and their company. And honestly, the only hesitation really is knowing who an expert is and who isn't. So I want to actually help you guys. A lot of the local business owners on here we've been helping, we actually give them a free, easy plan of attack that have actual things they can do to help impact their business. And it has resulted in a lot of these businesses coming back saying, hey, we like what you're doing. Can you help us with this? So if by the end of the video, you like what you've heard and you can see that some of our techniques will help your business, go ahead and give me a call or shoot me a message back. Or if by the end you want to take these techniques and this free, easy plan of attack that I'm making for you guys and try it on your own, that works just fine for me. So let's just jump right into the 3 things that are going to help you out. The first thing is content, or the first thing, in your case, we want to get your website back up and going. It looks like you already have had to have that domain before. We just need to go back and actually redo some of the hosting and get that paid for and get that up and going through GoDaddy. And we do that all the time. We definitely can take care of that for you. Get the rights to the domain and get your website back up and going. And through that, we make sure we can maybe give it a redesign on your website. But the first thing we want to do once we get the website up and going and your hosting paid for and get all that back through GoDaddy, we'd want to make sure that your website has about 1,500 to 2,000 words. I can show you some of the sites we've done here. We've actually did Mendon City. Make sure I can pull this up here. Website for them, and this is kind of one we've done for them. I know this is a little more of a government website. I know it's a little more. The page itself is a little more intrigued, probably more than what you need. But this here is a website here, and you can see that they've got lots of content, lots of words, and throughout there, we want to make sure our content hits about 1,500 to 2,000 words. And the reason for is it optimizes with Google, and we want to make sure that we can get that there for you. We can see some of your competition. So this is just one of the websites here, but we can see some of the competition that kind of has the hold here for you is when we first Google some of the ones of the top 3. We got arnoldquality.com, and I know they do some of the fabrication around here. We can see they've got a little bit of content, and they're about 250. So we can definitely outbeat your competition there. And as well, we got Rocky Mountain Machining and Welding. We used to use these guys a lot for some of the machining help that we needed to work with. But same thing, they've got a little bit of content. You can use this free tool that I'm using right now. It's called SEO Quakes if you ever want to use it. They've got about 200 words. So you can definitely tell we can definitely outbeat your competition in a sense of content once we get your website up and going. Give it a fresh new look and make sure it looks really right, and we're keeping good content on there to make sure it's optimizing with Google, so when people are looking you up, it comes up very well. So speaking of looking people up, if we, for example, went to Google and we typed in welding in Logan, Utah, like I had pulled up there, we can see the first couple people that pull up. Sometimes you'll get ads above here, and those ads are what we call they're basically Google ads. You can buy them, you can put them up on top, and they work sometimes, but a lot of the times the problem with them is sometimes if they're not done correctly and they're efficiently, they can kind of be a money waste. So we can talk about a different time about those. But the next thing, if you scroll down, which I think a lot of people use, and I imagine you use it, I use it a lot, is this map pack area. This is what it's called. It's the map pack, and when you type in different things, you always get the little map with a bunch of little kind of citations or people's names and business and address. And that's exactly what makes up the Google Map Pack, is a business name, address, and phone number. So, and we can see right now you're not quite there at the top 3, but these are kind of the top 3 that are being pulled up here in the valley. And we want to make sure that you are able to pop up there. We want to make sure you got Google My Business that comes up there. That's all. Got your correct name, address, and you got your phone number in there. It's up to date when you can click on these. You got people's images that will pull up with their business and a couple photos. Some of the things that are relevant, maybe their logo. it really helps with Google in that sense. We'd want to make sure you get pulled up there. And the other thing too, that really what puts those people in those top 3 positions is citations. And what like I said, a citation is a name, business, and address. Name, their phone number and address. And we use this paid program that we use to help make sure we give the best quality service. It's called whitesparks.ca. It's like 30 or 40 bucks. It's not too much. So if you want to go out and try to use it yourself, you're welcome to. But when we look up here, Weld or welding in Logan, Utah, we can see the couple top businesses that are being pulled up are Mountain View Machining and Welding, because they've got 41 of those citations out there that are with this. They're out there. We got Bear Welding, we got RC Welding and Fabrication, CG Welding. We got several of these guys, but there's not a ton of them out there. So what we'd want to do eventually is we'd get those citations and we'd go out to places like Yellow Book, White Pages, Yexstar, CityStar, Facebook, YouTube. I mean, the list goes on for these citations, and we can actually go to these citation sources here, and that'll help us. Yelp, all these places where we can go through and add your name, your business, and your phone number, and that counts as a citation. And we'd go through and we'd get lots of those citations. And as we do that, you would climb up in that map pack. So when people type in welding in Logan, Utah, you would slowly come up in here in the map pack area and climb up. So when people need some custom welding done, you pop up in that area. So, and the next thing is, if we scroll back here, that I want to talk to you about is, if you scroll down, we can see here that there's your organic search. When people look up, when they type in welding in Logan, Utah, or weld in Logan, Utah, we can see that there's different things that are popping up. And the first couple people you got right here, you got Arnold Quality is the top one in that position. And we can see that there's RC Welding and Fabrication. And I mean, I know you know as well as just as much as me, is sometimes when you have those jobs and people are looking up for those subcontractors, they kind of want to see what kind of work you do and what things you've done. And it's nice to have that website to be able to go check out what their capabilities are and how they're able to do those. So, and making sure you're in that top area of that first page is super critical. And the way to do that is through backlinks. And backlinks, the best way to describe what a backlink is, or a backlink, or I like to call them as link juice, is what it is basically if a site A is pointing to site B, then site A is acting like a backlink or a link juice to site B, which gives it more authority in Google's eyes. So these websites are getting more authority. Or the best way to explain it is it's like a popularity contest. The more people you know, right, the more people are most likely going to know you. So we want to make sure we have lots of backlinks to increase your popularity, I guess, of your website. So people are coming back to you. But as well, part of that backlink or that link juice is how relevant that is back to your website. For example, we'd want to have a site, weldsupply.com, linking back to you, versus Pizza Hut linking back to your website, because you don't deliver pizzas, and that doesn't make sense, right? We'd want to make sure they're relevant backlinks that are coming back to your site. And as you do those, you can see in some of this free tool I had, this SEO Quakes, if you go to the external here, you can see some of these backlinks that are basically pointing back to their websites, which is counting for a backlink. And if we go over here to also Machine Shop, Mountain View Machine Shop and Welding, we can see as well they've got a few too as well. I use a different tool. That's that free one. I use a tool called Ahrefs, and it is a free tool. It looked like when you had your website, this is your domain here, when you had your website, you had about 11 backlinks going out, which isn't super great, but we want to make sure we can increase that once we get your website up and going by quite a bit. We can see that Mountain View Machining, they're about 270. So we want to make sure we increase to get our backlinks up higher, so then when you pop up on that list, you come up as number one for the work that you need there. And it's totally be able to outbeat your competition here. We got Arnold Quality, and they're number one right now. If we come up here, they're number one on the list. They've only got 5 backlinks. You've actually got more than that right now, but we just got to get that website back up and going so we can increase those backlinks so that you're popping up in Google as that number one in that search. So that's super critical to make sure we have that going for you. So just to kind of wrap things up, to kind of first things first is we want to get that website back up and going for you. We can definitely handle that. We do all this, the hosting, we can totally handle that. Nothing to take off your plate. We'd get that up and going for you. give a fresh design on that on your website. Make sure that the number one thing we talked about is that content on that page is at least 1,500 words to 2,000 words to make sure it's really optimized with Google. The second thing after we get that website up and going would make sure those citations, which is that name, business, and address, is coming up more and more frequently. Make sure we put a lot of those so we're outbidding your customers in this area here, beating the competitions, not your customers, your competitions, so that you're popping up in the map pack is number one. We want to make sure we're doing that by 200 to 300 of those, really beat competition by a landslide. And then the last thing is backlinks. We want to increase a lot of those backlinks or the link juice to give it more, once we get your website up and going, give your website more relevant sites pointing back to you, giving that popularity so you win that, and it gives you more authority with Google. So you're popping up in this number 1 to 2 to 3 spots right there that you're coming up. So if you had all these implemented strategies today, like right now, you had your site up and going, and we had a new design going for your website, and we had all the content and the backlinks and the citations all going, you'd be number one across Google right now. So I know you're probably wondering, Norman, you were probably wondering what to do now. Well, you can take these tips that I gave you and some of our techniques that we do to help you here, and you can give it a shot on your own. Or if you want the most effective route to save yourself some time, give me a call. You have my cell phone, I know. It's 801-885-3422, or you can call us on our office phone, which is 435-557-0372. I'm excited to talk to you, Norman, and we'll talk to you soon.